What's up? Cletus Ray's Roadside Service. Wednesday. Today's going to be a good one. Just kidding. It's probably, I don't know what today's going to be. Um, Woke up and I woke up early because I knew I needed to go get chew before I went to work. So I woke up extra early. I was like, things are going to work out wonderful today. And then that quickly changed because now I am taking the back way to work. Because the highways are completely fucked. I don't think the highways are fucked right now, but what has already been fucked on the highways is still being fucked around with. So I'm not gonna get on the fucking highway. No way. So, yeah, everything. It's a light drizzle. There was a light drizzle overnight, and that created ice this morning. So, and it's been fucking everybody up all over the place. Like most of the highways that I would want to use are either completely backed up or closed in spots. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going the back way. Sorry, boss, I'll be there in about 30 minutes. I better text him actually. Uh, More like 7:30. I don't think my boss was up enough to realize what the road conditions were, because I asked him this morning. I woke up, was taking my morning shit, and I texted him. I said, "Hey man," after I checked my PTO levels, I was like, "Hey man, I mean, if you want me to, since I'm not on the schedule for anything all fucking week long, you got everybody else doing all the driving jobs. I'll just use, today would be a great day for me to just use 8 hours PTO and stay the fuck home." One reason, I didn't tell him this, obviously. I just asked him, and he said, "No, you're going to run the low boy today." So I'm like, "All right, I'm coming in." It was easy as that. I was like, "Hey, do you want me to be in your fucking hair all day, or do you want me to not?" And now he's saying, well, he's got a job for me. So that's great. Hey, if I'm doing a job, that's great. I don't think the job that I'm doing is going to be any fun at all. Hauling, most likely an excavator. That's really the only thing we do with the low boy is haul the excavator. And I mean that'll be fine. That'll be fine. It'll be fun. If anybody else wants to help me fucking chain the motherfucker down, today was gonna go great. If nobody wants to help me chain it down, today's still gonna go great. It's just gonna take a little longer. I I don't know. But last night when I got home kind of late. Why did I get home late? No, I didn't get home late. I got home right at 5, right before 5. Or no, right before 6. I got home, and my wife was a little upset because instead of coming straight home, I stopped at Quick Trip, got me some gas and some food, and I sat in the parking lot and ate it. If I had not sat in the parking lot and ate it, I'd have been home in time to change clothes because I was completely covered in fucking diesel, red dye diesel, oil, fucking shit from a pond that we were cleaning out at the airport. And I was like, I can't take him to karate unless I come home and change. And I don't think I'm going to come home and change because there's no clean jeans. And I forgot, I meant to grab a new pair of jeans from work because that's where we keep our uniform jeans and shit. And I just forgot it. So I was like, fuck. And I've done laundry, but I haven't done my jeans laundry. And I don't usually wash my work jeans at home anyways. I usually wear them until I only have a few pairs left at work, and then take a whole bunch of them back into work and dump them in the bag, and they show up next week all clean. So, why do I need a detour? Why does it say detour there? What's a detour from? Oh, that's a little slick. Um, my water heater showed up, boys. I showed up at home. I was like, oh fuck yes. You know the I don't even know if I talked about it. We ordered another water heater because the whole water heater situation was fucked from Home Depot. It just was not working out. And then we set it up again here just like a few days ago, and it actually went through because the water heater's sitting in my house. So I'm ready to install the fucking water heater whenever. I pulled it in the basement last night, and it's sitting there ready to go. It's a gasless, tankless water heater. All right, I just got a call from my buddy. I think I was talking about the water heater, and that's the buddy that I need to have help me with the water heater. Anyways, I just came from. I was talking to him because he's in traffic, and I was hitting traffic, but I actually wasn't hitting traffic for a very long time. But I did hit a spot of traffic. I saw an Altima hit the wall on a bridge, a downhill bridge on the other side of the curb from me. There's a car flipped over. There's some fucked up shit, but there's a lot of people that just have like a little fender bender, and they're like, "We're gonna leave our shit in the middle of the fucking road because look at me, I was in an accident." And it's like, get the fuck out of the way, you stupid bitch. Like, your BMW has a dented rear bumper. I think you can fucking drive and get out of the middle of the road, and that would really help the rest of this traffic get by. Like, I don't know. Like, if I feel like if I got into an accident, I'd do everything in my power to move my piece of shit out of the fucking way. I don't need to have people be like, "Oh yeah, the whole reason we're fucking stopped is because of this fucking red Chevy Cruze." I don't want to be that guy. But we're almost to work now. Like, I'm right here. I said I'd be there at 7:30, and I'm going to be there at 7:29. Look at that. I texted my boss again. I said, yeah, more like 7:30. But yeah, I'm excited today. I texted my father-in-law because he runs a truck shop and he's got inspectors and stuff. So I was going to see if I could possibly get my truck inspected by him or one of his inspectors, and he said maybe. I don't know if any inspectors are going to show up today. So, but which is kind of good because I text him. I've done this before where I'm like, "Hey, can I get an inspection?" He says, "Yeah." And then at the end of the day, I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming in for the inspection," and he's like, "Oh, I'm not there." I'm like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Like, he's like, "Oh yeah, I totally forgot." So what my developed plan is now, I'm gonna text him the morning of, and then now that he said, I don't know if an inspector's gonna be there and I'm not there yet. So I'm gonna be like, perfect. Because now I'm gonna send him a text and say at, I don't know, noon or whatever, and say, hey, did an inspector show up? Should I be there? And then he'll remember. So either he won't leave or he won't send his inspectors home or whatever it may be. I would really like to get that thing inspected today. And then I was talking to my buddy. He called me while I was on my way in, and he said, yeah, I might not have anything going on today. I might be able to come in and come over and install that water heater for you. So if I can get things done this week, that'd be great. But I just made it to work, so I'm gonna let you go. I'll let you know how things go later on. Well, we made it. We made it here to the. You guys don't even know. So I got to work. I rolled in there, and I went inside the office, and I looked at my boss, and I saw, I don't know, I'm going to over exaggerate and say 17 CDLA drivers that are there, that have been there, that are actively looking for something to do. And I just look at my boss and I'm like, what is going on here? You've got all these guys sitting here waiting for something to happen. And with the weather today, it's unlikely any of that's going to happen. And I asked you if I could stay home and use PTO. Like I'm not bitching about having to come in and do the work. I guess I am, but it just I'm like you got one guy that's willing to stay home and be out of your hair, and you got a bunch of other guys that are available and willing to do the work that needs to be done with that wasn't even on my schedule. Like I had no idea what I was doing today. I thought I was going to come in and I was going to be another one of those fucking guys. That's why I was like, "Hey, I'll stay home so we don't need 8 guys sweeping the shop." Is what it is. We don't need 8 guys sweeping the shop, walking around. One guy takes a nap in the corner, the other one hides out in the kitchen, eats up all the snacks. While one or maybe 2 people are actually doing anything of value to the company that day. And they ain't going to do it all day either. But I walk in, I look at him, and I say, "Hey." He's like, "I need you to grab the low boy." I'm like, "All right, right now?" Because I don't know if you have any idea what's going on, but if it's a bridge in Kansas City, it's covered in ice. And he's either closed, going to be closed, or jammed. Said, "Yeah, go get it ready." So I was like, "All right." I went out, I got the truck, and one of the other guys that was in there sweeping the shop, he's like, "Hey, I've never ran that low boy before. Will you just kind of walk me through?" I drove it the other day, but I never had to operate it. So I ran him through all the operations of it. And we actually noticed, which I would have noticed also, but we noticed that there's like a little pin, 2 little pins that go on either side of this low boy, split neck no low boy. And they got to line up, and they weren't lined up. I don't know what damage that would really happen. Empty, probably not much. Fully loaded, I don't want to be in the situation where I got to drive this thing fully loaded with those pins not matched up. So I don't know exactly. The hydraulics would, instead of the hydraulics holding you up, there's like an actual block pin thing that lines up and holds the trailer at whatever. You got 3 different levels you can choose: low, medium, or high. I always do high. So anyways, I walked through it with him, and then he talked about something. I don't know what he was talking about exactly, but I just shake my head and say uh-huh, and then walk off. Get the truck fired up, spin it around, bring it over near my car so I can get my cooler, my jacket, my go bag, all that shit loaded in here, and I go back inside to grab another cup of coffee. And as I walk in, one of the other like highly respected project managers, or not project manager, supervisor, he's like, "Hey, don't go." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're not. First off, you're not going to make it, and you're just going to get tangled up out there on the roads." I was like, "All right. Did you tell that to the boss? Because he's the one telling me to go." And I'm like, he's like, I wouldn't go. And then I went to go get coffee, and then he went in there and talked to the boss and brought up the concern with me going out on the road right now because, I mean, yeah, it's bad. It's not good. There are trucks crashed, cars crashed, everything everywhere right now. And so he talks to the boss, and then the boss comes and meets me in the coffee or the kitchen area. He says, "You got a problem driving that truck today?" I was like, "I mean, I don't really have a, I mean, I'll do whatever you want me to do." He's the one that brought up an issue. I had the truck is parked out front ready to go. All I got to do is get this coffee put in this cup, and I'm going to be out the door. He's like, "Well, if you have problems here, let me show you the route I want you to take." And he wanted me to take this other road. There's a 12-foot bridge along that road. Empty is fine. Loaded is not a good idea to take that way back with an excavator that's going to be over 12 foot high or right at 12 foot high. I don't know exactly how high it's going, but it's under 13.6. It's under 13.4 probably. It's not super tall whenever we got it all folded up. So, I mean, I could possibly fit, but I don't have a measuring tool, and I'm not going to go through all that shit to figure that out. But so he shows me that route, and I'm like, okay. And as he's showing it to me, you can see every other fucking route is fucking completely blocked. And I'm like, this is not a good idea. But whatever, cool. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna get stuck in traffic, and I'm going to, you were the one shoving me into traffic, having me get stuck. So I'll do it. Whatever. And I go out and I get in the truck and I leave. I just get outside the gate, and then I get a phone call, and I thought it was him. I thought he was gonna say, "Actually, never mind. Don't worry about it today. Go home. Take your 8 hours PTO." That would have been fucking sick. No, it was the other guy. He's like, "Hey, you're coming to get this excavator. It took me an hour and a half to get here. So just be careful." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Also, I don't have the key. So you need to grab the key from the shop." I'm like, "Motherfucker." Like, coming to the shop and leaving the shop ain't a big deal. But just leaving the shop and needing to do a U-turn, there's no good spot for a truck and trailer to do a U-turn. So I just had to block all traffic at the T in the road and do a little bit of forward and backward shuffling. Got it turned around, got it out of there. And I followed the GPS up until it told me to get off on whatever street. And it was backed up onto the highway, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going, see what's up here. And then there's another exit that says, yeah, you can go this way. It's backed up onto the highway. The other way that I don't want to go is backed up onto the highway. The only direction was 29, 35, 71 north, 49 north, all those fucking things. So I take that, and I take it nice and slow because that's on a bridge, downhill, at an angle, around a corner. Not good. I didn't slip or anything, but I got down there, and I don't know, the highway is so backed up in every other direction that there was very little traffic getting through or something. So I was able to sneak all the way across and hop on Front Street. And I just took Front Street. No fucking traffic the whole way. I was like, but I'm telling you, there was one bridge back a little bit further on I-70 where I saw a truck with doubles. He was going up this hill, and it was an exit hill, big ass long bridge exit, and he didn't make it. And now he's got his doubles zigzagged across both fucking lanes up against both barriers, and there's a big ass line of cars behind it, and it's like, guys, don't, I don't know. You're already in that situation, that sucks. But everybody's going to need to back out. And even a tow truck, I don't know how a tow truck's going to get there. He's not going to be able to get past the fucking zigzag doubles. So he's going to have to go and back down, go on a different highway and back down that to get him. And then, I mean, tow trucks are tow trucks. Yeah, they're great and all, but they still use the same tires as everybody else. Maybe they have some chains. I don't know. But that's a bad situation. And there was no, emergency services are stretched thin today. So that was not looking too good. Musselman Hall Contractors. What are you doing down here, bud? You about to hop on the rail? It's got a big old international service truck, high rail, crane, fucking shit. So I don't know how, but every single direction, and this was not the route that my boss told me to take. This was I just tried to go whichever way didn't look completely backed up, because there's several ways to get where I'm at. And I found literally the only way, and I had to drive through a lot of crashes. Like, there was a high probability of me getting into an accident, but I was able to avoid any accident, avoid the accidents that had already occurred, weasel around them, and I got here. I got to where I need to be. As soon as I got here, I called the guy. He's like, all right, well, I got to drive all the way, because you got to go quite a far back in there to get to where the excavator's at. So as he was driving out, I got the low boy dropped, and I started going through the chains, and I'm like, I am very disappointed in the people I work with sometimes. I have the exact number of chains I need to haul this excavator. I have also the same exact number of chains that are missing cotter pins for the hook. And I cannot believe people are putting this shit back without like, they have so many chains that I don't know what they're doing with the cotter keys. I have no fucking idea, but they're all missing for a lot of chains. So as I'm digging through and I try to put the chains in there nice and neat, and there's about 1.5 inches of mud at the bottom of that toolbox where all the chains go on the low boy. And I'm just like, how does mud get in here? This makes no sense. That much mud? That's insane. Got a guy walking up. I don't know if he's coming to me or not. Nope. Oh, he's looking at the rail here. I think he's going to need to pick some of them up. He's going to take in some rail to replace it. Replace some issues somewhere. I thought I parked in a really open, empty, flat spot that wasn't going to be in anybody's way. And of course, as soon as, I don't see the excavator yet, but he's going to be coming around the corner at some point in time. Hey, do you need me to move? You need me to move? You want me to get out of your way? I'll pull forward a little bit if you want. Okay, I'll just pull forward a little bit. Okay. Alright, I guess I'll back up. I'll back it on up. Yes, of course, as soon as I'm about ready. Which is fine, because it's going to take... I like to stay lined up with the trailer, but it'll be alright. I can line it back up. It'll be okay. And now we can, I think, even with him loading that, I think we can still get the excavator on there. And it's going to take a while to get it chained down. I can get it all chained down before I even hook it up. Anyways, yeah, today's just, I don't know. I hate that my boss was correct. He's like, no, you'll be fine. Just go. I should have just I should have fucking sat in traffic, and so it would have showed him a little bit of issue. But I actually got here like only 5 minutes after I would have got here on a dry, sunny day with no traffic. So I'm like, fuck, he was right. But he also wasn't right. Like, I went the only fucking way that was open. And so now he's going to look and he's going to, oh, he's already there. He's fine. Told him he was going to be fine. I don't know why he gets all worked up over everything. It's like, well, I actually wasn't even the one worked up. That's the thing is other people were commenting on my behalf. I didn't say shit to him. I said, you want me to take that? All right, I'll do it. And I went out, got the truck ready. All I was going in there was to get a cup of fucking coffee. And somebody else said, hey, I don't think you should go, blah, blah, blah. And now he's like, oh, what do you got concerns? Like, I do have concerns, but I don't know what those concerns are exactly yet. If the roads are open, they're open. I guess I'll go. And if that one guy just wouldn't have spoke up on my behalf, which I appreciate, because most of the time, words coming from that guy are held in high regard. But whatever, man. I'm here. Everything's going fine. I'm getting paid. And I don't know if I explained this. I got to take this to St. Joe, and the ice and the fog and the winter weather is worse the further north you go. And I am currently south of where I need to be. So, and what's going on is there's a derailment over here. Our excavator's over here. It was over here doing whatever work. And now there's another derailment up in St. Joe. So I'm going to get this thing loaded up and drive it up to St. Joe and drop it off. And I don't know. I have no idea if I'm going to sit there with it and then load it up and bring it back home, or bring it back here, or just leave with an empty trailer and go back to the shop. Not sure yet. I don't want to ask those questions too soon. Because those questions, it doesn't matter what the answer is. The task that I got going on right now is what it is. I'll wait until I get up there, and then I'll either figure it out. Either the guy that's running the site is going to say, no, you just hang out here. We just need to use it for a little bit. Or he's going to tell me, yeah, just take it all back to the shop, and I'll just drive it back to the shop. And if my boss is like, what are you doing? Why'd you bring it back empty? Like, hey, they told me to. They told me to, bud. So yeah, that's about it. My dip is already done for. So I'm going to swap this out, kind of hang out here or watch some YouTube until he starts tracking this way. I'll get you all updated once I figure something else out. Welcome back. It is much later. It is 6:30. I don't even know where I left y'all off at. Never do. But I got the excavator. The excavator picked up. I got it drove up here to St. Joe. No issues. Luckily, no issues. Could have been some issues. But I made it. Everything went well. Let's see. I got up here. I got yelled at by a guy like I had just pulled up. It was like, the railroad doesn't own this property. You can't drop that here. I said, all right, I won't drop it here. It's like, you tear up my road and you're going to have hell to pay. I'm like, your road's already torn the fuck up. I said, I know, but I don't want it torn up more. I said, all right, no problem, bud. You ain't got to worry about me dropping it here. I'll drop it somewhere else. And then he just proceeded to continue to tell me of all the places I can and cannot drop it. And I'm like, you just need to tell me one. Okay? The thing's got tracks on it. I can move it wherever the fuck I want. So, eventually moved it over here. Got it unstrapped. Everything was good to go. Got it hooked back. Got the trailer hooked back up. And then the excavator was sitting there. The operator for the excavator was ready to go. Went back to the hole where so there's a train that the front part of the train engine went on one side of the switch, and the other side of the train, the back end of the train, went on the other side of the switch, and created a whole hell of a lot of problems, and put a hole in the fuel tank, and then leaked out. They are claiming there's 1,000 gallons of red dyed diesel that went into the ground over here. But me and everybody else, we all think there's a lot more than that. Because I guess there was another engine on that. It was a remote locomotive, so it just moves shit around the yard. But there's another engine hooked up to it that they always run together apparently. And the other one had a full tank and didn't get tipped over. So I don't know. Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is there is diesel in the ground, and we're going to keep digging until we stop getting diesel out of the ground. That's what the railroad expects out of us, and that's what we're going to give them. So I went back there, and they had like a little pond dug up, not pond, but like a little area, and it was full of red dye diesel. But they were like, "Oh, we just want to skim off the top." I'm like, "Skim off the top? Just suck this whole pit dry, not dry, but suck it down, and then just leave the." It had like we had a vac truck out there, the same vac truck I used yesterday actually, for almost the same exact thing. I was like, just suck it down all the way. I mean, that's only maybe 40 gallons, if that. Suck it all the way down, and then just let the filter sit there, and anything else that seeps out of the ground, because it was seeping out. It looked like, I've seen those videos of like brisket, people like mainly people out in Texas. They cook up a brisket and they squeeze it, and all the oil fucking oozes out the sides of it, and it's just like, oh God, I want that in my mouth. That's what the dirt looked like. It was like real oil soaked and just seeping with red dye diesel. You could see it just coming out of the entire thing. It was not looking good. I mean, it looked good if it was brisket. So anyways, I was in charge to just monitor the truck. Just make sure it's going to keep sucking. Because I guess they were out here last night pretty late, and it was freezing up on them. And I found out that was not a lie, because they would freeze every time they would get a hose that would freeze up. They would toss it on the rack on the back of the truck. And as I was out here about an hour into it, I'm seeing diesel dripping from the back of the truck, and I'm freaking out. I'm thinking that the tank is leaking or something, and it makes no sense that with that much of a vacuum on it, it's leaking diesel. Well, it turns out it was the hoses were thawing out, and as they were thawing out, it was letting the diesel that was trapped in the ice out. And it was just going everywhere. It wasn't even a gallon's worth, but it was enough to make you say, what the fuck is going on? They didn't have the truck grounded, which isn't a big, I mean, honestly, not a big deal. But when you're out on the railroad property, you want to do everything the right way. So I threw a grounding rod in, and they had a hammer and the grounding rod sitting right there. So I don't know why it was not in use. It's kind of strange. Maybe they had moved the truck and they just hadn't hooked it back up. And I'm sure it was dark and nobody cared enough. But they were out here up until noon without a grounding rod, because I got here about noon. And then I also noticed that I was like, hey, I just want to check the truck out, see how the truck's doing. Because if it's been out here running for a long time, it could be low on diesel. It could be low on DEF. It could be low on pump oil also. And surprisingly, yes, it was low. It had half a tank of diesel. It doesn't use that much sitting there idling. It doesn't hold a whole lot of either, but What is this semi doing? He's going super fucking slow. You doing all right, bud? Oh, turn off your brights, you fucking bitch. So, yeah, I just sat there and sucked up the pit for a while. One of the other guys went out and got lunch. There were 6 of us. Well, there was actually only 5 of us, and then there was a 6th other guy that was sitting there from the railroad. And the big boss that was out there, he said, "Hey," to the other guy, "you go get food for 8 people." And so he went to a local joint, little barbecue slash burger joint, and he got 8 packs of burgers and French fries and a case of pop. And we brought it out. He brought it out to us, and everybody ate theirs. And we had 2 left over. And well, no, we had 6 guys, but one guy said, I will not eat that burger. I'll shit myself out here." So he was like, "I'd like to have some fries though." So I was like, "Hey, give me one of those other meals. He wants it." And I gave him the French fries, and I ate the burger. And I was happy as a clam to eat 2 double cheeseburgers that are fucking not bad at all. They had a weird bun on them. It was like so soft. I could not believe how soft the bun was. The meat wasn't anything to write home about. Not that I've written any letters to anything anywhere at any point in time. But if I was going to write a letter, I don't think I would include the meat in that. If I was going to record a podcast, I'd definitely talk about the meat. Not sure why. No reason why. But anyways, it was a good burger. Fries were okay. And then it ends up me and this other dude, the dude that got the food, just sitting in the truck because it's kind of cold and drizzly out, and there's nothing to do unless you're in the skid steer, the excavator, or the rubber tire loader. There ain't nothing for you to fucking do. So me and him are just sitting there, not doing shit. He actually falls asleep and takes a nap. And what does he have sitting on the fucking dash of that truck? Meal number 8, just sitting there, fucking staring at me. I had no choice but to eat that fucking burger. If we had 5 extra burgers, I would have taken all 5 burgers over to the crew that was over there. They were ripping out the rail. I only had 1 burger. How would it look if I walk over to one guy out of that 5-man crew and hand him a burger? Would not look good. Nobody gets it. Instead, I ate the 3rd burger, but I only ate 1 set of fries. I did not eat the set of fries on the 2nd pack or the 3rd pack, but I did eat 3 double cheeseburgers, and they were pretty fucking delicious, and I don't have any regrets at all about what I ate today. I'm happy with what I ate today. So anyways, we're just sitting around, and then he's like, "Hey, we need to lay out a containment area for some of this really soil, really diesely dirt, whatever you want to call it." So we had 4 rolls of 100 by 25 sheeting. So we set up 2 containments. And the other guy beat me to the skid steer. I was hoping to run the skid steer, but I was unable to get to it. He got in there and he's like, "I ain't getting out of this." I'm like, "All right, I understand. You ain't getting out." He also doesn't know that I'm a full-fledged operator. Like, he doesn't know that I have these skills for free. Apparently, I just have all these skills for free. Nobody wants to cash in on them. World's best operator, talking to you right here. Of forklifts only. Okay. I'd like to get really good at the other ones, but unless I have a job where most of my time is spent in that piece of machinery all day, every day, I'm not going to get proficient at it as I am in a forklift. But anyways, he got in skid steer and he's making the most fucked up looking berm area because we wanted to flatten out. They had a big area. It was flat, but it was full of brush and shit. And so we wanted to clear the brush and create a berm and then lay the plastic over the berm. And he made them all fucking crooked as shit. I was like, I would have done way fucking better. But whatever. I'll keep those thoughts to myself and podcast. So, but I had to stand outside holding 100-foot roll of fucking poly sheeting, just standing there waiting for him to get done. I mean, I did set it down, but I'm still just standing out in the cold while every single other person on the job site's either sitting in a pickup truck jerking off to Facebook or sitting in a piece of machinery jerking off to Facebook. You know, they're just operators. They get that. You know, they're like, yeah, we were jerking off while we were operating. We were operating our cocks. That's what they say. I didn't say that. They say that. So, yeah, I felt kind of like an outcast. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here running the vac truck. The vac truck's over there. Maybe I should try to get into one of these pieces of equipment. So, anyways, I went back to the back. After we got the berm set, we got them rolled out, laid out, and then I had to walk around. He wanted to put a little bits of dirt all the way around it to keep the poly sheeting from blowing away in the wind. Understandable, but I had to go with him, and he kept honking at me. He's like, move it! I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just drop the dirt on the fucking ground. The berm ain't going nowhere. And then I went and sat in the back truck. I just sat in the back truck and I started watching all kinds of videos and stuff. You know, actually enjoying my time. Then, I don't know, the big boss, he got out of his truck, so I was like, I better get out. If he's getting out of his truck, I got to get out of my truck. So I got out of my truck and walked over there. And one of the other guys, they had pulled the hose out of the hole. So I was sitting in a vac truck running at full blast. And they had pulled the hose out of the hole. And I'm like, oh, are we done sucking the hole? Because it looks like there's still some red dye diesel in there. They're like, yeah, we're going to let it fill back up. I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Whatever. So I go and I shut the vac truck all down. I'm like, we don't need to have this thing, you know, running the PTO. And it wasn't running full blast. It was running at idle, but it's still loud and fucking obnoxious for no goddamn reason is what it was. So I shut the valve, pulled the hose even further out of the hole, and they're like, you can leave that hose there. I'm like, I know I can, but I'm not going to, okay? Leave me the fuck alone. Let me just fucking, I'm going to set it over here so it's not a tripping hazard. Safety, Steve. Fuckhead. So, anyways, yeah, things went well after that. You know, we ended up moving a light plant, and I got directions from a fucking idiot. I was like, hey, we can cross all 4 tracks right here. He's like, no, we got to go all the way around. I'm like, okay. So drive up, and then we get to another crossing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we can just cross right here and just drive right down to where they're at. We had a pickup truck. And he's like, no, you got to go out, get on the main road, take it down. And I did, and then it led us to no outlet. And I'm like, this is not right. He's like, well, the Google Maps hasn't updated or whatever. I'm like, this place is old as fuck. What are you talking about? The Google Maps hasn't updated. Yeah, let me see the fucking map. He's like, I got the map. I'm like, all right, you got the map. Yeah, we ended up going through a logging place. I don't know. It wasn't like there was no trees around, but like they bring logs there and they process them. It's like a lumber mill. And we just end up opening up their gate and just driving through there. I'm like, there's an easier way to get where we needed to be. But his way led us to where we needed to go. So, whatever. And then I was backing up, and they said bring the light plant over on this side. Just set it anywhere. We'll use the excavator to move it to exactly where we'd like it to be. And so I brought it in, and I just parked it right next to the skid steer right there. And he's like, "No, I need your back. Pull forward. Back it up. No, a little bit further this way." I'm like, "Brother, why are you getting so particular with this fucking thing?" I'm saying this in the cab of a truck while he's out back trying to direct me. But I'm like, why does it need to be in a specific fucking look? They specifically said, don't just set it anywhere. And this is anywhere right here. And it's out of the way, too. But whatever. We got it parked there, and then we got the light plant turned on, set up, outriggers out. And then we're just standing around the hole watching the guy in the excavator dump shit into the wheel loader. And we stood there for a while. I mean, maybe like half an hour just standing there watching him. I mean, it could have been longer than that. But let's just say half an hour. And then I was like, you know what? I want to run the rubber tire loader. I've never ran one before. So I just walk up to the guy sitting in there. I said, hey, I walked up his ladder while the excavator's loading up his bucket. And I said, hey, show me how to run this fucking thing. He's like, well, this is how you tilt. This is how you go up and down. And this is how you go forward and backwards. And here's your brake. Here's your throttle. That's pretty much it. I said, all right, hop out. Let me run this thing. He's like, oh, you want to run it? I was like, yeah, I'd love to run it. He's like, okay. So he hopped out. I hopped in there. The guy continued to load me the first time. I backed up, did a U-turn, dumped it in the pile where it's supposed to go, went back over there, got another load, turned around, backed up, dumped it, and as I was coming back again, they all stopped me. They're like, hey, stop. I'm like, what? Did I hit something? What's going on? They're like, no, we're done. I'm like, we're done? I just got in the fucking thing. There's still a pile of gravel over there. They're like, no, we're done for the day. I'm like, oh. All right, well, I guess I can say I ran the rubber tire loader, but I mean, I barely got 2 fucking loads in it. And where do you want it parked? They're like, back over there. I'm like, all right, well, get the fuck out of the way. Like, why are you guys stopping me here if you want me to park it where I was headed? Jesus. There's like 3 of them waving their hands, trying to get me to stop. I'm like, whoa, easy. What? Am I doing something wrong here? I feel like I'm not, but what's the chaoticness for? Like, oh, we're done. Yeah, keep going and park it over there. I'm like, well, that's where I was headed. You all were standing right there, and I was going to go to the right of you and just park it right there, but whatever. I don't know. People like to, I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a micromanage tactic is to stop somebody from what they're doing and then tell them to continue to do what they were about to do, but now it's them telling you to do it. So now they're in charge. It's like, all right, you're in charge. Jesus Christ. Can't let me have any fun. This is the only piece of equipment I get to run today, and I barely get to run it, and y'all want to fucking kick me out of it and make me go home. So anyways, I was talking to the guy that I took the machine from, because he had been in it all day. I see him in there. He's like getting a little aggravated. He does not like doing repetitive shit all fucking day, and I'm like, if it's between sitting in the rubber tire loader and looking like an essential piece of the puzzle here and sitting in a truck jerking off on Facebook, I really was not jerking off. I was just sitting there playing on Facebook or whatever. Sitting there playing on your phone in a truck or standing around a hole, I feel like you don't look like it looks like you don't need to be there. So if I can run this, I would like to run it. I'd like to run the skid steer because if I was running the skid steer, it's like, oh, that guy's the operator. He knows what he's doing. The guy standing outside holding the fucking poly sheeting, he's the dumbass. That's just the way I look at it. I look at it like, all right, the guy that's operating probably knows what the fuck's going on. It's probably pretty fucking cool. The guy that's outside is inadequate. And I was the guy that looked inadequate. I'm like, hey, I would make this thing way more square, way better berms, more even. I'd make it look nice. And he didn't even clear all the brush out. I would have got all the fucking brush out for sure. But anyways, I was like, all right, take me back to my truck. I'm gonna take it back to the shop. So I grabbed my low boy and empty low boy, and now I'm just headed back to the shop. Just gonna park this thing and get in my little red piece of shit and go home. I was hoping to get my inspection today. I was hoping to get my water heater installed. None of that's gonna happen. I wasn't hoping, but I figured I would probably be able to make it to my daughter's dance class, or at least be able to stay home with my son, so my wife could take her to dance class, because I know that that was probably going to be too much of a problem having him there with her, with a bunch of little girls screaming, running, and no seats. But no, all that. I mean, I would much rather be making money than. Well, not really. I would actually much rather have been there for my daughter while she went to dance class. So this is her first extracurricular activity she's ever done, and I went to everything for my son every single time except for this karate thing. I missed out on one of his karate deals. Um, and he was so excited when he got home. It was last night. He was so excited when he got home. He's like, I got another ribbon. I was like, awesome, dude. I was like, what did you learn? He's like, and he's showing me all these moves. Couldn't really tell exactly what he had learned, but I know he learned something, and he was excited about it. So I was excited for him. But then I got a text from my boss earlier in the day. He said, hey, you're going back out there tomorrow. You need to be on the job site at 7:30, and it's an hour away. So I need to leave. I need to be at the shop at 6, and I need to leave there by 6:30. This car wants to race me. Why were you going 65 back there, and then as soon as I get in front of you, you're like, oh, I'll go his speed. Looks like a good speed to go. I'll just pace him and not let him over. And I did not remember this truck being limited to 74. It's definitely limited to 74. Said you're going back out there and you need to pack a bag, because you're probably going to stay out there tonight. And I'm like, what? If I stay out of town, it's usually out of town. I don't really consider St. Joe out of town. I'm like, how many hours do you want us to work tomorrow? That's what I'm asking. How late do you think we need to? I mean, I guess the longer each person's shift is, the better, but like, you want me to stay the night when it's only, I guess, you'd be paying me to drive here and drive home 2 days. I mean, I guess that time does add up, but I'm not that far away from my house. I mean, it's St. Joe, so it's like an hour, but it's a half hour home from the shop. So I mean, I don't know. But if they're wanting to pay me longer hours and I get to stay in a hotel room and collect per diem, I mean, that's what I've been kind of aggravated about lately, was not getting no fucking money. Like, I'm not getting a lot of I'm not getting enough hours. I'm not getting any extra shit. I got a bonus, but the bonus wasn't all that great. So I guess that's good. Yeah, I'll stay the night out here tomorrow. Just seems a little unnecessary, and it just happens to happen on the week where if I don't hurry up and spend the money on my truck and what I need for my water heater, if I don't hurry up and spend that, it's going to be gone. Me and my wife and my kids are going to eat through all the money. Because, of course, it's a lot easier just to go pick up McDonald's rather than cook some shit at the house. I mean, we have been eating at the house much more lately, but I know we're gonna eat through all that money, and whenever I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to get my inspection, go get my tags, uh, and any other little things that I might need here and there, like an oil change or whatever. I'm like, oh well, actually, you're gonna bankrupt us if you do all those things right now. And it's like, fuck, dude, fuck, I needed money. And I gotta work to make the money, but then I ain't got no time to go fucking do what I need to do. Because I had it all set up. Like, my father-in-law, he's like, yeah, we can get it done today. And I'm like, well, I'm working late now. All of a sudden, I'm working late, which is good. It's good to work late, but it was unexpected, so I set other shit up that I won't be able to complete. And I don't know. I might drive my truck in tomorrow, but if it's going to sit there overnight, maybe I won't. I don't know. And it's got expired tags. I mean, my car's got expired tags also, so I don't know. They're both expired. They all expired at the end of 24. So now I'm even more of a sore thumb sticking out there because all the 25 stickers in Missouri are blue, and I got the red 24 stickers. So cop doesn't have to do a lot of investigations to look at me and find a reason to pull me over. Anyways, that's about it. I think he said tomorrow we might be getting another rubber tire loader in, and he said if we get another one, he's going to stick me in it. And I said I would love that. I'd like to get some time in on one. It'd be nice. Either that or let me run a skid steer. He's like, anybody can run the skid steer. I'm like, I know anybody can run the skid steer. But when you got a guy that has proven himself to be or not even proven himself, he's just cocky enough to act like he can run a skid steer, everybody's going to choose that guy over me. Because, I mean, I'm not over here. I'm not a competitive person. I am really not a competitive person. I like to get the things that winners get, but I don't want to fucking put other people down or take things from other people to get it, you know? So if somebody else really has the passion to run the skid steer, I'm going to let them run the skid steer. But then they got a big old head thinking they're the only ones that can run the fucking skid steer. It's like, no, I could actually run it. Y'all just never, every time there's a time to run the skid steer, somebody else has got the idea that it's theirs to run. It's not the fucking trucker's job to run the equipment. It's like, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe, and other people were saying, oh, you don't get paid as an operator out here. Don't operate. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I did get my yearly review finished. They send us a thing you got to fill out online and do a yearly review. And I'm not even kidding. I put in there that I am I said in the state, if not the country, the best forklift operator. I put that in there. I'm not even, that's something I'm truly not even joking about. I put it in there. I said, I am the best forklift operator that's ever lived. Well, maybe not that's ever lived, but that's living today. Yes, I'm better. I'm the best. And yeah, that's one thing that I don't put myself out there for many things, okay? But for forklift operating, I'm the fucking operator. And it's really funny to see other people get up on the forklift and they're trying to like move shit around the shop or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna need to get down. Get down. It's not for you. Alright, come on, fucking sprayers. Jesus Christ. These sprayers are like freezing up or something. It's only 34 degrees. Not that, I mean, it's cold, but it ain't cold enough to freeze them up. So, yep, I guess had a pretty good day. A lot of sitting around, a lot of eating, little bit of operating. You know, could have been worse. They could have handed me a shovel and had me go around there. Said, hey, I need you to shovel. Oh, fuck me. Do not hand me a shovel. You hand me a shovel, I'm probably going to try to hit you with it. That's happened to me before. I was working with Holcher. There was a derailment, flood, levee break in Neosho. I say that, I've only been there when it's dark, so I don't even know where the fuck we were. But we were in what they call Neosho. And went out there, and I picked up the food. They said, they handed me keys and a credit card, and they said, take that truck, go get food. I said, how many people? They said 100. I said, all right. So I went to a local diner, and right before I left, a guy was like, hey, don't come back with fucking Subway. We don't want fucking Subway. We don't want McDonald's. We want something fucking good. I'm like, okay. He's like, you guys always bring back fucking bullshit. Don't bring back bullshit this time. Bring back something good. I'm like, all right. Jesus. So I found like a little mom and pop shop. Walked in there, said, I'd like to have 100 orders of your, I don't know what it was. It was like, it wasn't Salisbury steak, but it was some shit with mashed potatoes, green beans, corn, a bread roll, whatever. And I sat there for like 2 hours waiting on this food. Maybe even longer than that. Loaded my fucking truck up with this fucking shit. And then I had to go out and get back to the job site, which I wasn't even exactly sure where it was. And there wasn't great phone signal out there, and there was a lot of flooding. So I get on a back road, and I start headed to where I think I need to go, and I run into a flooded road, and I'm like, I know a lot of people would say, just come on, you'll be fine, just drive through it. First off, unfamiliar road. If it was a familiar road, I'd have a better idea of what I'm getting into. Unfamiliar road, there could be a bridge here. Maybe that's why there's fucking water. It's dark, I can't see through the water. If I run this into a fucking ditch and die because I had 100 packs of fucking Salisbury steak land on my back and I can't get the window to roll down and I'm dead in a ditch, maybe I didn't die. Maybe I just get the truck, I drive it in, and it gets flooded out, and they say, what the fuck, dude? How did you fucking you flooded the fucking truck? And I'd be like, yeah, I thought I could drive through it. Now, you do have to drive through some water sometimes, okay? But I ended up, it took me a long fucking time to get back to the job site. Got to the job site, but they have the road, it's a back road, and there's so many pieces of equipment out there, so many low boys, so many trucks and trailers, so much equipment and pickup trucks and shit. You pull down the road, you can't even get to the fucking job site. So I had to park the truck at the edge of, like, way back on the road and walk my ass down there. Like, I got the food. They're like, and they handed me a shovel, and they said, go over there. I said, the food is in that truck. They're like, go over there. I'm like, all right, I'm going over there. I'm like, food's in that fucking truck. Like, I don't know if they ever ate the food. But I picked up 100 meals. I ate what I got while I was driving. And I get there and I get thrown a shovel and told go to work. And so that's what I did. And I ended up walking 2 miles down the rail until I met up with another crew, and that's where we were. The track was okay for 2 miles, and that's where they were repairing it, was 2 miles back. But they had everything staged over in this area. So I go over there, and yeah, they handed me a shovel, but luckily the guy that was over there, he's like, oh yeah, you won't need your shovel. We're doing it a really easy way. We have a track picker, a machine that picks up the track. We have a roto dump truck, high rail. He's coming down the rail. He's going to dump everything on the track. This guy's going to come. He's going to pick up the track and shake it, and all the rock is going to get underneath all the ties, and it's a perfect track. I don't know where we started. I don't know where we ended, but I was out there for 36, 38 hours, something like that. I was out there, bud. I was out there for a very fucking long time. And, yeah, no food, no breaks, no relief. Just me and this one dude. I think his name was Mitch. He's a good guy. Gave me a hoodie. I still have the hoodie. My wife hates the hoodie because it's green with stripes on it. But I'm like, that hoodie means a lot to me. Because I was cold and he gave it to me. I don't know if he wanted it back or not, but I never did give it back to him. So, anyways, we're out there for, at this point, we were out there for maybe 30 hours. Let's say 30 hours. And a relief crew was on their way. The first person to get relieved was the boss, the guy that gave me the hoodie. The fucking idiot that they brought in, his name, everybody calls him that, he calls himself it, ButterBall. He looks like somebody you would call Butterball. Fat as fuck, spacing between all of his teeth. His teeth are all, he looks inbred-ish. Bald, pasty, red cheeks, rosy red cheeks. Well, red just splotches all over his fucking body. Annoying as fuck, horrible voice. Is there anything else I can say about this guy that would be mean? Because that I would, whatever mean thing you can say about a person, that's what this guy was. Fat little fuck. Butterball. And he's the guy that he started out as a laborer. Usually that's how you get the best managers, is starting out from the bottom and working your way to the top. No, this guy got picked on the entire time he was, learning. And even all the way up until he got to where he was. But once he got to the high position that he was in, he decided he was going to, he has seniority and the power to pick on anybody and everybody he can. So anyways, this is the guy that came to relieve my boss, or my supervisor at the job. And they just swapped out. Like, he showed up, the other guy, he got in a truck and he was gone. And he walked over, he's like, okay, so I'll tell you how we're going to do this. Where's your shovel? I was like, my shovel's over there. He's like, go get your shovel. I'm like, okay. And then the roto dump came over, and he started to dump, and he's like, hey, what are you dumping there for? We need it dumped over there. And he turned the roto dump, and he was dumping on the side beside the rail. And he said, what are you doing? Go shovel it under the track. I'm like, what? I was like, hey, I don't know if you realize. He's like, shut the fuck up. Shovel that. It's a dump truck load of rock, okay? I've been out there for 30 hours. And he tells me to start shoveling the rock underneath the track. And then the track picker comes up. And that guy's getting aggravated because we were doing it the right way for a long time. And then the track picker's looking at me because Butterball fucking ran off somewhere else. And the track, he's like, why are you doing it why are we doing it this? I was like, Brother, I don't know. I'm not in charge out here. I know it was working really good the way we were doing it, wasn't it? He's like, yeah, that's the way we're supposed to do it. He's like, I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm not in charge. That fucking idiot, that fat fuck over there is telling the dump truck driver to dump it beside the rail, and then who is supposed to put it under the track? Me, with a fucking shovel. And I've been out here for a very long fucking time. And then as soon as it took 8 hours, apparently, for the next crew to show up and relieve me. So I was out there for 30 hours, pretty light work, just kind of there to watch things happen. And then 8 hours of excruciating pain and suffering with a little bit of delusion. And then as soon as the relief crew got there, I was the first guy to get in the truck. I got in the truck before they got out. Okay. I was ready to fucking go. So I liked working with Holcher, but there was, that was an asshole. There was another guy named Chuck. He was a big fucking asshole. There's other guys that were, they weren't assholes, but they would make you work. They would make you work really. They would make you hate them. They're nice, but you hate them. You're like, I can't believe you're fucking doing this to me, type of shit. Like Chuck, that fucking idiot, I made him smell my piss once. And you might be wondering, how the fuck do you get him to do that? So we were out on a job site out in Illinois, and we parked the truck in a parking lot. And then we hopped in the truck. We went to the hotel. We came back out there early in the morning, and me and Colton had to take a piss. So we both pissed next to the truck. It was in the middle of a parking lot. Where else are you supposed to piss? Up against the building? Probably not. Piss up against the truck right behind the diesel tank of the truck. And I don't know where Chuck went or what he was doing. He was messing with shit in his truck or whatever. We pissed, and then he comes over. He's like, what is all that leaking under the truck? And both me and Colton both didn't want to admit to this. This guy's a real fucking dick. Didn't want to mention to him that we peed in the parking lot. So he came over, he dabbed his hand in it, and then smelled it. And just for the story's sake, he licked it. And he's like, just water. And both me and Colton were like, what the fuck? He just licked our piss, dude. Two guys. Low water intake. A little bit of asparagus the night before. Worst kind of piss you can have. And he just fucking smeared it all over his fucking hand and then licked it. I could not believe it. It was like, that's karma. He doesn't even know he got karma. He was a fucking asshole. Like we would be riding in the truck, and I'd say, "Hey, where are we headed?" He's like, "Why do you need to know where we're headed? Are you driving?" I'm like, "Oh no. I guess I don't need to know where we're going." And then about 15 minutes later, Colton was in the back seat, and he's like, "Hey, are we headed over here to this place?" And he's like, "Oh no, we're going over here to this other place over here. Yeah, it's about 5 miles this way, and it's right next to this thing, and blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, I cannot believe he answered the question for you. And but this was on like every single thing. Every single thing that I said, he was upset with. He was like, who are you? Why do you need to know anything? And I'm like, whoa, easy, bud. Just trying to make conversation. We're on an 8-hour truck drive with you, and there's nothing to talk about. The only thing that he could talk about to me, or I didn't even talk about it, but he would show me fat white chick titties on his phone. He's like, this chick's coming over to the hotel tonight, and he'd show me a picture, and you could feel her show up. You could feel her show up to the hotel, or it was a motel, like it had staircases on the outside. You could feel her show up, and then just bang it out in the hotel room. Hey, I'm not trying to body shame or shame him for getting the pussy that he wants, but I'm just like, I don't want to see those pictures. I don't care about those pictures. He was a black guy. Pretty fit, actually, for being a black guy, and strong voice, but he really loved fat, white pussy. I don't know. So, another time we had finished a job and we went to a steakhouse. So we finished early, even though they get the same allotment for food as every single time. They don't get like better food money if we do a good job or a bad job. But this guy, he would never. We finished the job a little early, and he said, "You guys did good today. Well, I'm going to take you to the steakhouse." It's like, you could take us to the steakhouse every night, but you don't, because he gets in some way, shape, or form, he gets to pocket the money that we don't use on food. So, of course, he just buys cheap shit every other day, and then at the end of the job, he'll buy you a steak or whatever. Hey, that's how it is. I mean, I like food from everywhere, but steakhouse is nice. But we get to a steakhouse, and then I go to order my food. And I don't know if it had anything to do with me standing next to a guzzler for 15 hours or what, but I started to order my food, and he hit his hand on the table, and he said, "Keep your voice down." And I'm like, I look over at Colton, and Colton's just like, "Whoa, I don't know." Like, this came from nowhere. I was just ordering my food. Like I said, yeah, I'll take a sweet tea, and I'll do the 16-ounce ribeye or whatever the fuck it was, mash. And he's like, "Keep your voice down." I'm like, "Keep my voice down? What? What are you talking about, dude?" I should have got fucking louder, is what I should have done. But I was at the end of the job, and the only time this guy was at least a little bit tolerable was at the end of a job on the way home. Because he can get his regular white pussy, and so he doesn't have to get strange white pussy from out of town. I don't know. Fucking Chuck. What a fucking idiot. I mean, he's not an idiot. He's good at his job, but he is a fucking dick for no reason. And it was only to me. Yeah, Colton was another little white boy at the job site. Like, we were both exactly the same. But he was really nice to Colton, and he was really fucking mean to me. Who else was it? Oh, there was Kevin. Another guy named Kevin. He looked like a movie star from the 70s, 80s. Like an 80s movie star. He looked like he could have been a beachgoer on the Jaws or whatever. But, he's just living his life of luxury now. Or whatever, I don't know. Can you get out of my fucking lane? It's kind of hard to see all you fucking fuckheads. Is there another one? Can't tell. My mirrors are all fucking grody looking. He was super nice, super chill guy, had the voice of an angel. He never sang to us, but he just had like that, like, radio announcer voice. And he was so cool, but it seemed like every time I saw him, I got roped into another long-ass job. Which is great, but it's like, I've already been out on a job for a week and a half, and we get back to the shop, and they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing else going on. Go ahead and take your shit home and get it washed. Never know when you're going to get called back out." Before I can get all my shit out of the truck that we showed up to the shop in, he walks up, he's like, hey, what are you about to go do?" I said, "I'm about to go home." He said, "Actually, you're going to go with me." And I'm like, "Oh, where are we going? He's like, Minnesota. I'm like, what? I need to do laundry. He's like, there's laundry at the hotel. I'm like, all right, are we going straight to the hotel? No, we are not. I'm like, okay, well, that's not, you're super nice, but fuck, dude. And it was like every time I saw him, it was some shit like that. It was like, hey, how you doing? You know, just start like a little small talk. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, your truck's running good? Okay, cool. How's your dogs at home? Oh, right, yeah. Hey, hop in my truck, let's go. I'm like, where are we going? So that was an interesting place. I'm glad I worked there, because now I can appreciate the job I'm at now a lot more. Because no matter what I say, talking shit on people, the people at that I work with aren't that bad. They're not that bad. Like there can be I got a good range of assholes at the other place. Assholes that would pick on you, assholes that would just treat you like shit for no fucking reason, and then other guys that just would run you fucking ragged. That was it. We went on one funny job. I was like, where are we going? He's like, we're going a couple hours north. We're going to a Walmart. I'm like, oh, what are we doing at the Walmart? Said bathroom overfilled. Somebody flushed down a bunch of, I don't know, products from the store in the toilet and shit in there, and it clogged up the toilet. But instead of it just overflowing into the bathroom, it blew a pipe in the wall and seeped into their security office. I was like, oh God. I said, yeah, not good. So we got there to Walmart, and you know, we tape off the men's restroom with caution tape, and there's still guys coming in there trying to take a leak and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you guys gotta go. And they're like, I really gotta go. I'm like, you need to use the restroom at the back of the fucking store. But they would just walk in there and piss while I'm hammering tiles from the wall. They had like a little floor backsplash thing that came up. And so yeah, I'm over there hammering into the wall, and then it's just oozing shit out of the wall. And one of the Walmart associates came up. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting the shit out of the wall." No, 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 no. You're not. No, we're not breaking the walls down. We're not taking the tile off. We're not doing. I'm like, all right. Well, I don't know. And then the other Kevin, the Kevin supervisor guy, he's like, how else would you like the shit to come out of the wall? He's like, can you come down from like the roof or something to come into the wall? I'm like, no, nope, can't do that. And then they said, we don't need you. We don't want you to do anything. We're gonna call somebody else. And we said, all right. And so we left with the fucking wall oozing shit out of it. And I'm like, that's not good at all. Like we were all in Tyvek and shit. Oh, good memories. Anyways, I'm rolling up to the shop. Gonna fill this motherfucker up, park it, and call it a night. Go home. Think about driving my truck tomorrow. I'm gonna probably get in the truck and just test out the clutch, make sure the clutch is working still, make sure the power steering still got fluid in it, and do that. So keep all 18 down, and I'll talk to y'all later.